How's it going, friends? My name is Fringy, it's August 1st, and welcome to System Update for the week's gaming news and discussion. Time for some sales figures. Let's start with Sony. Strong PS4 sales have increased the profit seen by Sony's game division. Keep in mind that I said game division, not the whole fucking company. Sony saw a profit of 25.7 billion yen, or $41.8 million US dollars for Q2 2014 in the gaming division. They also said that they sold about 3.5 million PS4s and PS3s. I wish they gave us an actual figure for both platforms respectively, but those sales aren't too shabby, especially when it's 3 times the amount of Xbox Ones and Xbox 360s sold in the same quarter. They only sold about 1.1 million, which is pretty fucking shitty. Nintendo figures also came out. Mario Kart 8 boosted Wii U sales, which is obvious. They sold about 500,000 Wii U's, which is 4 times better than last year. 4 times! Mario Kart 8 also boosted software sales, which is pretty fucking important. Software sales matter. Now, while this news is important, I want to talk about the ever-present media bias that I've seen in this situation. On numerous occasions, I've discussed the very obvious bias present within the gaming press. Some fuckwits will tell you that the bias is against Sony, but that is total bullshit. Since the announcement of the PS4, no gaming website has had the fucking audacity to accurately report negative Sony news. They're always jerking it off, and it's always sugar-coated as fuck, while negative Nintendo and Microsoft news are thrust to the top of the website in plain fucking view. So let's discuss this. I'm going to read to you some of the titles that I've seen on some GameSpot articles and compare them, and we'll see whether or not this media bias is ever present, especially on this website. Now, I'm not just singling out GameStop or GameSpot. This is a problem with lots of websites. IGN are particularly guilty of this, but let's read. Strong PS4 sales raise Sony's profits. And at the top, they're talking about how, like, there's a big profit there, but it says Sony's profits. Sony is not making a profit this quarter. Right at the end of the fucking article, it says this. Despite all the good news, Sony still expects to post a net loss of 50 billion yen for this year, or for the financial year through March 2015. That's 287.5 million pounds, or 486 million US dollars lost. Lost! And they tucked that right at the bottom of the fucking article. Yet meanwhile, in the Nintendo article, which is headlined in this, strong Mario Kart 8 performance and rise in Wii U hardware sales can't keep Nintendo out of the red. Oh, look at this. Look at this fucking thing that they posted right at the top. Japanese game giant posts 97 million loss for the latest quarter. Yet when Sony is posting a loss for this year at 500 million but fucking dollars, they don't decide to put that at the top. They're like, no, this is boosting their profits. Despite the fact that they're losing money. You can't run away from this news. You can't sugarcoat this news. I hate that people are not addressing the fact that Sony is in the shit. Yeah, okay, the PS4 is doing well, and I'm glad the PS4 is doing well. I'm glad that the PlayStation division is seeing some profit. That's good news, because it hasn't been good for the last 6 years. But the reality of the situation is that Sony is in trouble. And you can't just dance around it and then say, no, Microsoft and Nintendo are in trouble. Microsoft and Nintendo are in trouble. Their two companies are in much better places than fucking Sony. Sony's been losing money for a fucking decade. They've been losing money for ages. Yeah, they had their great time in the 90s, but it's not the 90s anymore. Nobody's buying their fucking TVs or their Blu-ray players or any of that shit. Really, all Sony has right now is the PlayStation division. So yeah, the PlayStation division's doing well, but you can't post articles like this, where you're talking about how PS4 sales raise Sony's profits, but it's only raising profits in their gaming division. But yeah, everywhere else, they're fucked. If Sony goes down, PlayStation goes down with it. You can't treat them as separate entities. It's the same shit. If Microsoft was doing badly, and the Xbox One was doing well, and the Xbox division was doing well, I wouldn't just be sitting here like, oh, well, you know, it doesn't matter that Microsoft is going down, but, you know, the Xbox division is doing well. So let's just talk about that. Let's not talk about the fact that their company's in the shit. Like, we look at that hypothetical. Nobody would fucking do that. Unless, of course, the Xbox One was a more popular platform. This is the problem. These websites pander. They're like, well, the PS4 is successful, it's got a lot of fans. And with a lot of fans comes a lot of fanboys. We need to pander to them. This would happen if the Xbox One was really successful. This would happen if the Wii U was successful. They will pander to whichever platform it has the biggest install base. Because it means more fucking clicks. Because a lot of people are going to come to these articles, not read the content in it. So, okay, yeah. So they put the information in there that you need. But they're being deliberately misleading, which is why it's pissing me the fuck off. They're being deliberately misleading, telling people that the PS4 has raised Sony's profits, when in actuality, Sony hasn't posted a profit. Look at the comment that someone left on this. Although I'm happy for Sony to post a profit, I'm very saddened at the fact that they're still expecting a $500 million loss at the end of the year. I'm glad that you actually read it. Because a lot of people are just not going to do that. A lot of people are just going to see the article and be like, ha! Sony's making money! When in actuality, they're fucking hemorrhaging money. But with that rant out of the way about the fucking media bias, and I hope that you guys can see it. I hope you guys are able to actually understand this bias. I'm sure you do, because you actually have fucking brains. I'm sure you understand this bias. But I mean, these sales figures, let's talk about them briefly. Obviously, Sony's fucking killing it when it's compared to Microsoft and Nintendo. They're doing a lot better. They're not giving us specific figures, but obviously the PS4 is going to be making up a large amount of that $3.5 million value. Obviously it is. And with Microsoft only saying 1.1 million, that's kind of concerning. I mean, honestly, it seems like the Wii U is actually selling about as well as the Xbox One, which is kind of crazy when the Wii U's been on their back foot forever. You know, Microsoft has been in a disadvantage, but the fucking Wii U has been in the shit. And even though Mario Kart 8 has boosted sales, I know that the Wii U's not going to be as successful as the PS4. Never. It's never going to be because of just the design of the console. I like the Wii U, but it doesn't appeal to a lot of people. And that's okay. That's fine. If you don't want to buy a Wii U, that's okay with me. As long as you are aware of the facts, that's all that matters. But enough of that, let's move on. Surprising nobody, Crytek are basically fucked. Crytek announced this week that Crytek UK, the studio developing Homefront, was shut down. Because of this, Crytek had to sell the rights to the license to Koch Media. I hope I pronounced that correct. Who are the parent studio of Deep Silver. We don't know what the fuck is going on with the game now. That's not all of it though. The bulk of the Crytek USA staff have quit since they hadn't been paid. Crytek say they're in a transitional phase, but the reality is that they're in the shit. Big time. Basically, the only company that seems to be okay, or the only studio that seems to be okay, is Crytek Frankfurt, the main studio. So, let's ponder this. What could be the cause of Crytek's massive financial woes? Let's think. The fact that they prioritize graphics over gameplay from the mouth of the fucking head of the studio. Crytek once said that graphics account for 70% of a game, and that gameplay only accounts for 30%. It's the mentality like that that puts you in the shit. The reality of it is that investing in a game to make it look beautiful is expensive. The only game that I can think of that looks incredible, that has a small budget, is the Metro games. Which is surprising. They must be fucking engineering marvels. But Crytek spends so much money investing into the CryEngine, making their games look beautiful, that they sort of forget to make games that are a lot of fun. Now, obviously, this comes down to personal opinion in a lot of ways, but I don't know. The Crysis games are fun, but when you're putting so much money into graphics and not prioritizing gameplay, or just settling on making a game that looks good, it's shit like this that puts you in trouble, especially when your games aren't selling that well. Crytek games don't sell that well. Crysis 3 was one of the most expensive games ever made, and it didn't sell well. So, the Crysis series is done now. I mean, it was a trilogy, but there's no way they're making a Crysis 4 with that in mind. And they've been making games like Warframe that a lot of people don't like. Then they made Rise, which was terrible. And again, that game sold okay, but it's a launch title, so you're probably not going to be making a whole lot of your money back. And now they're working on Homefront, or at least they aren't anymore. This is the problem with Crytek, is that they're making all these games that just aren't selling as well as they need to accommodate for all the money they're putting into the fucking graphics. They need to understand that there are a lot of dipshits who do only care about graphics. But you want to sell your game, you got to cut down on the fucking budget. This is one of the biggest problems I have with the modern gaming industry. This is something that fucking Square Enix is particularly guilty of. They were disappointed when Tomb Raider sold like 6 million copies. They're like, oh, that's not good enough. You know, we're still making a loss. How bad are you with money? How bad would you be with money that you can't afford to make a game that sells 6 million copies? Which is a huge number. That's a great number. And that's why they had to make the fucking, you know, the remastered bullshit for PS4 and Xbox One, the definitive edition. Because they didn't make their money back. I mean, come on. You guys got to budget better. I know that to appeal to fucking bro dudes, and this is the thing as well. I mean, even bro dudes obviously don't care about graphics because a lot of bro dudes play Call of Duty. Call of Duty looks like dog shit, with the exception of Advanced Warfare, which actually looks decent now. They also don't give that much of a shit about the graphics. Come on, guys. Use your brains. Be smart about your money. Because I don't want to see Crytek go under. Even though they prioritize graphics over gameplay, I still like their games. And of course, I don't want people to lose their jobs. I don't want people to lose their jobs. See, anybody who wishes that the company loses jobs or anything like that, you don't want to do that. And this is something, I often say that I want companies to go down, but in reality, it means that people are going to lose their jobs. So it kind of sucks. But in this situation, these are developers. I don't want Crytek to go down. I don't want any of these, the developers to go down, even if they do stupid shit. I want them to thrive and survive and hopefully learn from their mistakes and make better games and better financial decisions so that we have more choices. Because at the end of the day, that's what's best for gamers. Thanks for watching System Update. I hope you enjoyed. I'm Fringy, and as always, have a good one.